Good morning, everybody. It's Mandy from First Parish in Cambridge. And this is my buddy, Hideous Hedgehog. Today we're talking about wisdom in soul matters. So I wanted to share a story with you about the wisdom of children. And I wanted to show you Hideous Hedgehog because Hideous reminds me that sometimes when we are struggling and in a challenging time like we're in right now, that it's good to remember the things that kids do that help them feel safe. And one of the things that I used to do when I was little and I wanted to feel safe was to play with stuffed animals. So now I have a stuffed animal in my life to remember that time. So this morning, I'm going to tell you a version of Little Red Riding Hood. So sit back and listen and enjoy. Once upon a time, there was a little girl who loved the color red so much that her grandmother made for her a cape with a hood on it. And the little girl loved it so much that she wore it every single day until everyone in her neighborhood started to call her Little Red Riding Hood. One day, Little Red and her mother found out that Grandma was sick. And so her mom made up a basket that had chicken noodle soup and biscuits and gave it to Little Red Riding Hood and said, "Take this to your grandmother to help her feel better. And whatever you do, stay on the path." So Little Red Riding Hood picked up the basket and carried it along down the path to her grandmother's house. And as she went, along came a big, bad wolf. Now, Little Red knew to stay on the path, but she didn't know not to talk to strangers. So when the big bad wolf asked her, "That smells absolutely delicious. Where are you going with that?" she said, "To my grandmother's house down the lane." And the wolf said, "Oh, are you? Well, I'll race you and see who gets there first." And so the big bad wolf did. And when it got to Grandma's house, it knocked on the door. And Grandma said, "Hello? Who is it?" And the wolf said, "It's Little Red Riding Hood," not sounding very much like Little Red Riding Hood at all. But Grandma's hearing wasn't very good. So Grandma said, "It's open. Come on in." And the wolf came in and jumped into her bed and ate her up. And then put on her nightgown and her nightcap and got under the covers and waited. After a few more minutes, along came Little Red Riding Hood with the basket and knocked on Grandma's door. "Who is it?" asked the wolf. "Oh my, Grandma, you sound awful," said Little Red Riding Hood. "It's me, Little Red Riding Hood. I brought you some chicken noodle soup." "Oh, come on It's open. So Little Red Riding Hood came in and put down the basket in the kitchen and peeked into the bedroom. "Oh, Grandma, you don't look very well at all." "No, I don't feel very well. Come closer so I can see you," said the wolf. "Okay," said Little Red Riding Hood. And she came over to give her grandmother a hug. But when she got an even closer look, she said, "Oh my, grandmother, what big ears you have." And the big bad wolf said, "The better to hear you with." "What big eyes you have, grandmother." And the big bad wolf said, "The better to see you with." And Little Red Riding Hood thought inside her head, "What big teeth you have." But she didn't say it. Instead, she said, "Grandmother, I need to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back." But the big bad wolf reached out a paw and held her arm. "Oh no, stay here." And Little Red Riding Hood said, "No, I really have to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back." And so the wolf said, "Well, don't get lost. Tie this string around your wrist so that I can help you get back." And tied a string around Little Red Riding Hood's arm. But Little Red Riding Hood ran out into the forest, tied the string around a tree, and ran away back home to get help. After that, they came and caught the big bad wolf, and Little Red Riding Hood escaped safe. So, Hideous, what did you think of that one? I know. That's a different version of the story where Little Red Riding Hood saves herself. It always made me think about how wise children can be and how sometimes we don't give them credit for being brave and thinking on their feet and taking care of themselves. So right now, like I said, it's a challenging time for all of us. I think for kids, I would love you to remember to do all the things that you can to be brave and creative and take good care of yourself, but also know that you have all kinds of adults around you to help take care of you. And for parents and caregivers, I ask you to think about what's the wisdom that your children can teach you. Signing off now, it's Mandy and Hideous Hedgehog. See you next week.